Hey everyone, Sovereign and Supreme here. In today's video, I'll be sharing with you my take on what happened in the Capitol today and why violence begets violence. First off, I would like to say I definitely do not agree with how Trump supporters dealt with their ideology that the election has been stolen. I don't believe in the whole voter fraud situation, and I think this is another method of control. And another thing that people fail to realize is when people in authority lie to the general public, it can lead to death. And I'm not at all surprised that one person died, and my heart goes out to that person. Real talk, I think that society has become so asinine that we can't even see off the tip of our noses, just how pointless this all is. We should not have to live in a society where, it's red versus blue or Democrat versus Republican. I think it's insanity, and we can do much better than this. As a matter of fact, we are much better than this. And being violent is only going to perpetuate more of the same. If you keep doing the same thing and you expect a different result, that is insanity. So there has to be a change within and around society. And that starts with one person, that starts with you, that starts with me, and anyone else who realizes that the way we have been handling things has seriously gotten out of control. And considering how off base 2020 was, the last thing we need is for 2021 to start off on the wrong foot. And I can't say this year is headed off on a whimper. It's headed out on a bang, but this is not the type of bang that we want. We do not want looting in the Capitol. We do not want the Capitol overran by people who feel like they have to take to the streets to avenge something that never even happened in the first place. It's maddening, it's sickening, and most of all, we, the people, were meant to lead a society much better than this. This is a sham of a society, and we have to get it together. Is this the life that you want to leave behind for your family, your friends, your descendants? Because I hope not. I mean, I know some people would say, well, Martin Luther King is dead, he was assassinated. But we need more peace in society. We do not need more of the same. And frankly, we can't even trust the news because all they do is lie and scheme. They have an agenda to perpetuate the hate and the fear. And if I'm being quite honest, Trump lost the election. And I think that he just needs to get over it because that's what he's doing is only going to make things worse. So why do something if it's going to worsen your situation? It goes against all logic. And quite frankly, I don't care if you are to the left or the right, but you have to see that this is ludicrous. It's ludicrous. We should not have to be in a society that is this stupid. And the reason why I say this is not because we don't know better, it's because we are purposely turning a blind eye to this. Or at least we were. And now at least I'd hope that we're in outrage over this. That innocent lives are being taken just because of a misconception, just because of lies. And in my opinion, I know that this is an unpopular opinion and people may think I'm out there, but forget that. Quite frankly, we do not need other people. We do not need a select few in authority calling all the shots. We can be the authority over our own lives. We do not need people to lord over us. As a matter of fact, you already know I say that we are all divine beings. Divine, sovereign, and supreme beings in human form. But Babylon is falling, and the last thing you want is to fall with it. You do not want to collapse with a dying system. Old paradigms are drying up. So dry that I can't even say there's a well anymore. You know, there is nothing fresh about this. Nothing. When something is not growing, it's dead. And these old paradigms that we so readily live by are dead. As a matter of fact, they're undead. They're like zombies, parasites that are leashing onto people and encouraging them to perpetuate the cycle. And I want to stop saying quite frankly, that's a habit of mine. But if you want the violence to stop, you have to be a pacifist. If you want the chaos to stop, you have to embrace the peace. If you want the mayhem to stop, you have to say, I am going to find clarity within. I am going to do the best I can despite what's going on out there. And I don't know if this is your experience or not, but in my experience, it really seems like you really can't trust anything outside of yourself. It just all feels like a big fat lie. Everything that the media has been telling us, you really can't trust it. You have to fact check it because mostly everything that you know about, at least you think you know about, has actually been fabricated in one way, shape, or form. So who do we trust when society goes rogue? Who do we trust when the world out there is insane? Who do we trust when everything is out of control? We must control ourselves. And whenever someone wants to control other people or control a narrative, that's because they're out of control. And that's exactly what happened today. Violence is not going to make Trump win. Or anyone for that matter. It's just going to complicate the matter. Because at the end of the day, on January 20th, Joe Biden will be sworn into office. And anyone who has a problem with that really needs to get over it. But I know that's not going to be the case. I'm just simply voicing my opinion. But your internal condition should not be shaped by external circumstances. It is the attachment to external circumstances that causes your internal condition to be significantly impacted by what's no longer positively serving you and the whole of society. So how do we better society? We take control of our own inner states and embrace whatever we're feeling, whatever we're going through, and detaching from what is negatively serving our lives. Violence begets violence, lies begets lies, lies beget lies, and death begets death. You know, an innocent person died today. That bothers me more than the rioting. That bothers me more than the Capitol being overran by Trump supporters. That bothers me more than the lies that have been continuously fed to general public about the reality of the voter fraud. And even if there was voter fraud, it didn't just magically pop up when Trump became president. These problems didn't just arise. Rome wasn't built in a day. And I guarantee you, if Rome had to be deconstructed, it would most definitely take more than a day. And when it's the end of something, we think it's the end, but it's simply a new beginning. The same thing goes for creation and destruction. Old destruction is new creation. And if we want society to be a better place, we have to put out different energy. We have to project pacifism or nonviolent activism. We have to project love. We have to project peace. We have to project joy, and we have to project enlightenment. And the reason why is because we are constantly attracting certain circumstances into our lives. Whether that's what we want or we don't want, it's a different story. But if you want to change the narrative, you have to change. If the narrator wants his or her narrative to change, the narrator has to change his or her perspective. And the same thing applies to society. If the narrative is violent, but the narrator wants the violence to stop, the narrator has to stop narrating from violence. The narrator has to stop being violent, so to speak. So, if you want to know how I personally feel about this, I feel like it's so easy to get desensitized to these events. And I just happen to see this, but typically I don't even watch the news because it is extremely depressing. And I don't have time for that. And a lot of the things that we struggle with in society, we should not even have to struggle with. It is nonsense, and we all need to grow the hell up and get it together. We need to be in control of ourselves so that the world we live in can be more controlled. And not by trying to control things, but by letting the control take place because we take care of ourselves. So let me know, what are your thoughts about this? Because I think that this is going to continue to happen until we learn that everything we do is going to come back to us. Everything and everyone is interconnected. So, what are we going to do? How are we going to reclaim our society? How are we going to stop the cycle from perpetuating itself? We have to look at ourselves in the mirror. What do we see? Do we see what we want? Do we see what we don't want? And if it's the latter, we have to make that change. Because you see, 2021 was not destined to be just like 2020. Just like Ralph Smart said in one of his videos, if 2020 was the year of learning, 2021 is the year of wisdom. And 2020 had the root number of 4. And it was tumultuous. It was hard. It took a lot of work and effort just to get through it with all your ducks in a row. 2021, on the other hand, is a year of change, progression, rapid transformation, and the like. It is a year where we experience more freedom, more abundance of miracles. So I would like to paint a different scenario, a different narrative. One that doesn't end up in a shamble. One that isn't a sham, but one that is authentic. One that unites people. And one that brings a peace of mind, body, and spirit. So I would like to reiterate my point. Violence begets violence. All of the issues that we are having in society is self-explanatory. We should not be having these issues. We should be able to talk to each other like responsible, civil, ethical adults and handle our issues. And at some point in time, we all just kind of have to let go. It's easy to react to everything that's going on in the world, but it takes effort to respond, and to respond in a healthy, constructive manner. So I hope that gives you some clarity on how I feel about the rioting in the Capitol. And I would like to let you know that it's okay if you do not have all the answers. It's okay if you feel kind of afraid of what may happen, of what some of the Trump supporters may do. And it's okay if you feel like there's just this cloud of ambiguity hovering over you. That's perfectly normal. And I was reluctant to make a video, but I have noticed that with each passing day, I notice that I'm going through a radical transformation. This is my year because in anyone's year if they're at Life Path 5. And, I just told myself, you just have to stop worrying about what other people think about you. It does not matter. They're going to criticize you if you dance. They're going to criticize you if you don't dance. So you might as well dance. And be you. Be free from the anchor on your mind, body, and spirit. Let the anchor go. Be free. Don't sink. Swim. Don't fall with Babylon. Leave the tower. Build your own. Do what has not been done. Don't keep piling on. Don't keep adding to what has already been established. Unpeel the layers. Undo the damage. And that is how you get an epic do-over. So once again, violence begets violence, and we can turn this around if, and only if, we learn to not do what has already been done. Do the polar opposite. Be the lion. Be the wolf. Be the odd one out. And one thing I'm learning on my journey is every experience is supposed to help you grow, learn, develop, and mature. And mature. I like that. And I'm personally glad that I don't condone violence. I'm personally glad that all of this tension is going on because it will make us greater, stronger, and better people. And as a people, it is up to us to progress, transform, and make strides to be the best, most optimal versions of ourselves. So stay safe, stay warm, and remember that violence begets violence. And anything that you do more of the same of begets more of the same. So I hope you found some solace in this video. I hope that something in this video resonated with you. And I hope that you transform to your greatest version and stop the cycle. To embrace the love, the light, the joy, the peace, the enlightenment, and the bliss. Take care. Love you all. Stay strong and embrace the energy of 2021.